Okay, so I'm a little behind on today's topic, yet I'm still talking about it because it's overall something that I feel like I need to discuss. That subject being in how the Wheel of Time adaptation was not renewed for a 4th season, even despite how this Amazon Prime show, based on Robert Jordan's beloved high fantasy Wheel of Time books, became a great television show in its 3rd season and received glowing reviews from both critics and fans. Fans who ranged from longtime book readers to those who were introduced to the Wheel of Time by the show itself, of which many of us, myself included, became incredibly loyal to Amazon Prime's Wheel of Time adaptation as it began to finally fulfill its potential, meaning that the Wheel of Time had a devoted audience and as a series, quality-wise, was progressively improving every season until it really found its groove in season 3. Yet sadly, this did not prevent the Wheel of Time from having to pay the executioner's tax. Via a Deadline article in late May, the fanbase learned the devastating news regarding the Wheel of Time's unfortunate fate, i.e. its cancellation, with Amazon claiming that financial reasons were the culprit, which was a tough horse pill to swallow, even when considering that the Wheel of Time's success was always going to be an uphill battle. After all, Prime's Wheel of Time adaptation was based on a high fantasy series set on a fictional continent in a fictitious reality that featured monsters, epic battle sequences, stunning locales, and cool magic shit. And for the adaptation, the Wheel of Time on Prime was also greenlit during the fantasy gold rush after the conclusion of the market-dominating Game of Thrones, as nearly every television streaming company and their fucking mothers attempted to fill the Game of Thrones void with their own adaptation of high fantasy epics, which was an understandable gambit, albeit a very unrealistic one. Because it's very easy for a TV executive to say, we need our own expensive fantasy TV series that leaves the same type of cultural footprint as one of the most watched TV shows of all time. But it's another thing to actually execute on that, considering that every TV network and streaming service craved the same goddamn thing. And I'm not talking about sex. Because, you know, there's only so many shows that can have the same type of audience and audience retention and love as Game of Thrones. The ideal of replicating that lightning in a bottle style of success was very unrealistic. Because, you know, I can say that I want to ride an elephant to work every day, but that doesn't mean it's gonna fucking happen. Yet, of course, this doesn't leave Amazon off the hook. Sure, US viewership of The Wheel of Time was down in its 3rd season, but season 3 was beloved by both critics and, more importantly, the Wheel of Time fandom, the type who travel to JordanCon every year. My lovely deviants. All to the point that the Wheel of Time's 3rd season could have finally launched the series into the stratosphere where it belongs. And then there's the way that Amazon marketed the Wheel of Time adaptation, which is something that has come under heavy scrutiny from the fandom. Like, come on, it does not take a Sherlock Batman to note that this is a sore spot for a lot of us. Hell, you can find a lot of critiques on social media from fans of the show who rightfully have a fucking axe to grind. Because after all, Amazon invested hundreds of millions of dollars into this show, yet the promotional effort to advertise that said show to non-fans was non-existent, which overall begs the question, why not set up a show that had so much money put into it, one that just had a critically acclaimed 3rd season at that, up for success? It just boondongles my mind. And Amazon, and I'm talking to Amazon here, you can't credibly say it was all about the money. I mean, for fuck's sake, your net earnings in 2024 alone was $59.2 billion. And this is all even before another common critique from Wheel of Time fans regarding the lack of show-adjacent merchandising, which, to be clear, was a major oversight on Amazon's part, because nerds are willing to spend a ludicrous amount of money on stuff that has no inherent value to any rational person save for nerds themselves. That's how Magic the fucking Gathering exists. So, yeah, I can't help but dwell on the fact that the Wheel of Time adaptation was not supported by Amazon to the best of its ability, which sucks. However, on the other side of things, the outpouring of love for the Wheel of Time adaptation since its cancellation has been very heartwarming. Much of the cast and crew, many of which endeared themselves to fans over the last few years with their passion passion for the material, shared eulogies regarding the series' end, news outlets have written op-eds regarding how Amazon is making a big mistake by shit-canning the series, and that Sony Pictures should shop the series to another streamer or network. And then there's the impressive fan campaign, a campaign that is an active love letter to the Wheel of Time adaptation, as well as a call to action for the fans in order to get the show renewed in some capacity, called Save the Wheel of Time, or as I like to refer to it as, Save What. Also, the link to sign the petition and the Save the Wheel of Time campaign is in the description. Because as far as fan campaigns go, Save the Wheel of Time is worth knowing about, and is emblematic of what this fan community represents, as well as showcasing just how much the Wheel of Time adaptation meant to so many people. In fact, the site currently boasts fan testimonials, donations to promote the campaign, like public billboards, some of which have already been executed upon, as seen by the billboards in prominent cities worldwide, including New York, which is America's second best city. Obviously, Chicago is number one. And then there's just the sheer amount of people who have signed this petition, which is at over 185,000 people at the time of recording. Which, holy shit, that is a lot. That's over 4.5 Warhammers. Now, will this campaign work? Who knows? But I am happy that people are passionate about a great show that deserves to be saved. Because any effort to convince another network or streamer to pick up the Wheel of Time adaptation is a worthwhile endeavor. I just hope that it is successful.